Hello and welcome to the news updates on AFRICUNIA television, bringing you updates from around the world from the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. Now looking into the Nigerian scene today, presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar yesterday took a swipe at the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, when he accused leaders of the ruling party of gathering in Abuja to treat themselves to sumptuous dinner in the name of a meeting, while innocent worshippers died needlessly in a war on Ondo State. He therefore called on the Nigerian police to stand with him as volunteers to reclaim the country from the challenges currently befalling it. According to a statement titled, "Why You Need to Stand With Me at the Front," the former vice president said it was disconcerting that on the very day when the whole of the country and the rest of the world was in a sober mood on account of the massacre in a war on Ondo State, the ruling APC could not find the moral rectitude to cancel a dinner with their presidential aspirant, slated for the evening of Sunday, 5th June. He, however, said if the charade that the APC called the presidential convention primary election was merely to unpick an anointed candidate, it was important to ask the managers of the ruling party, that is the All Progressives Congress, why they elect to slate the so-called convention for a working day, thereby disrupting economic activities around the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Now, still in Nigeria, amid increasing calls for diversification of the economy, Nigeria's crude oil exports jumped to 5.6 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2022, reflecting nearly 200% increase when compared to the same period in 2021. The figures contained in the foreign trade report of the National Bureau of Statistics said Nigeria's total merchandise trade stood at 13 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2022, indicating an increase of 11.05% over the value recorded in the fourth quarter of 2021, and 65.41% higher when compared to the value recorded in the fourth quarter of 2021. The export trade in the quarter under review stood at 7.1 trillion naira, showing a raise of 23.1% over the value recorded in the preceding quarter, and also an increase of 137.9% over the corresponding period of the preceding year. On the other hand, total imports were valued at 5.90 trillion naira, indicating a decrease of 0.7% over the value recorded in the preceding quarter. And now, according to the reports, the value of manufactured goods stood at 3.1 trillion naira, representing 24.55% of total trade. However, the exports component accounted for only 219.08 billion naira of total trade, meaning Nigeria imported nearly 15 times the value of manufactured goods it exported in the fourth quarter of the year. Speaking on the causes of the sharp increase in the amount of exported crude within 1 year, an energy expert, Bala Zaka, said the numbers did not necessarily mean an increase in the volume of exports. According to him, factors such as the Russia-Ukraine war had led to a significant rise in the price of oil in the international market. And as a result, oil revenue had increased far above the projected benchmark when the year began. Now, away from Nigeria, at least 20 civilians were killed on Sunday night in Ituri, in the northeastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, in a new massacre attributed to the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF. Experts at local Red Cross have said. The Kivu Security Barometer, KST, an organization with observers in the area, wrote on Twitter, adding, the ADF is suspected. Our volunteers on the ground and the youth president have counted 36 bodies, David Beza, president of the Irumu Territory Red Cross, told journalists, explaining that these ADF rebels arrived at around 8 p.m. Presented by the jihadist organization Islamic State (EI) as its branches in Central Africa, the ADF group is accused of being responsible for the massacre of thousands of civilians in the eastern Congo and of committing or having committed attacks in Uganda. The latest major massacres attributed to ADF rebels in eastern DRC dates back to the end of May, with the death of at least 16 people in Bulongo announced on 30th May, following the killing of at least 27 people on 28 May in the village of Bumayama in the neighboring Benin region. Now, still on the African scene, COVID-19 cases in Uganda are rising, according to the country's health minister, Dr. Jane Ruth Aseng. In a tweet, Dr. Aseng said the country has started experiencing an increase in the number of daily infections, just like it was last year in January when the deadly Omicron variant hit the country, killing several people. We have started experiencing an increase in the daily number of COVID-19 cases compared to the stable trends we observed since January 2022. This increase is similar to the rise we faced in June 2021 when the Delta variant was prevalent, Dr. Aseng added. The health minister, however, noted that the ministry is prepared to respond and save lives before the worst come to worse. With the increase in cases, vaccination campaigns and observation will be intensified, but said there is no indication of travel restriction or lockdowns. They will optimize the existing control and mitigation tool at personnel and community levels. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, it's updates from the foreign scene. Stay with me. Do you deal in electronic devices, beauty, grocery, fashion, and automobile? Are you seeking to expand your business to a wide array of customers? Try VendorBuy. VendorBuy is a world-class e-commerce platform where you can showcase your products and businesses to a plethora of customers for as low as 3% commission charge, and also a platform that accepts cryptocurrency payments as a payment instrument. The only marketplace offering that in Nigeria and one of the few doing that globally. Download VendorBuy app from your Google Play Store and the App Store now. VendorBuy, the market in your pocket. And now welcome back onto the foreign scene. Vietnam on Tuesday dismissed its health minister Nguyen Thanh Long after he was accused of violating the ruling Communist Party's rules and allegedly causing losses to the state's budget. And now the sacking of the minister comes amid an intensifying anti-corruption drive in the Southeast Asian country that was launched in 2016. Now, dozens of senior health officials have been arrested in recent weeks, accused of wrongdoings in medical equipment procurement, including COVID-19 test kits. The senior finance and diplomatic officials have also been targeted, and many have faced trials and been jailed. The National Assembly, the country's lawmaking body, voted on Tuesday to remove Long from the position of health minister, which he assumed in 2020. The Communist Party of Vietnam on Monday also decided to expel Long. And according to a government news release, the government said Long has degraded in political ideology, violated the party's regulation, and caused losses to the state's budget. And now moving on, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will seek to shore up his position by setting out a raft of new policies to senior ministers after he survived a confidence vote that revealed the scale of the threat to his position. Johnson won the votes late on Monday by 211 votes to 148, enough to avoid having to immediately resign, but a larger than anticipated rebellion within his party that leaves him politically wounded and battling to win back the confidence of his colleagues and the general public. And now his first challenge will be to convince his most senior allies, some of whom would have likely run to replace him if he had been forced out, that he will be able to move on from questions about his leadership. Now, Boris Johnson's office issued a statement saying it would use the meeting to set out his vision for the coming weeks, including new policies to reduce the cost of childcare and to help people or more people build their own homes. And now, still on the foreign scene, the European Parliament will vote this week on a raft of EU climate change policies designed to cut Europe's emissions over the next decade, with proposals facing multiple amendments and the outcome uncertain for some of the most ambitious plans. The plans aim to put the 27-country European Union, the world's third largest economy, on track for its goal of reducing net greenhouse gas emission 55% by 2030 from 1990 levels. Now, under the EU complex lawmaking process, Parliament will debate 8 proposals on Tuesday and vote on them on Wednesday to confirm its position for negotiation with EU countries on the final legislation. Members of the Parliament are having to consider hundreds of amendments that could increase or weaken the impact of the EU's climate policies. Now, some lawmakers will attempt to strengthen that to a 67% emission cut, and Peter Lice, the Parliament's lead negotiator on the carbon markets reform, said he was optimistic a compromise for a 63% emission cut would win majority support. Option up for the vote on Wednesday include a phase-out of free CO2 permits by 2030, 2032 or 2035. Industries have urged lawmakers not to pull forward the date, which would hike the price they pay to pollute. And away from that scene, we now head to the world of sports. Heavyweight Anthony Joshua's new trainer, Garcia, is impressed by Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk, but he believes Ezeh is the most talented. It was announced recently that Joshua had hired highly rated trainer Garcia to join his camp. But it seems the American has been a fan for some time, and Garcia will be hoping to help Ezeh reclaim the WBA, WBO and IBF heavyweight world titles in his rematch with Usyk, which is expected to hold on July 23rd, having been masterfully outboxed by the Ukrainian in the first fight. Joshua was widely criticized for his tactics in the first fight with Usyk, as he engaged in a chest-out bout with one of the most technically gifted boxers in the sport, but Garcia still believes Ezeh is a top dog in the boxing glamour division. Perhaps this is exactly the change Ezeh needed to overcome the considerably challenge of Usyk, but only time will tell. And finally, Gareth Southgate has described England's Nations League meeting with Germany at the Allianz Arena on Tuesday as a brilliant test of where we are as the World Cup drops closer. England heads to Munich, having suffered a shock 1-0 loss to Hungary in their Group C opener. But the meeting with Germany, one of only 5 remaining fixtures before the 2022 World Cup, represents a far sterner challenge. England will take encouragement from their last meeting with Germany when Southgate's side triumphed 2-0 at the Wembley to secure their place in the Euro 2020 Qatar finals last summer. And now, with only 5 games remaining between now and November, Southgate is using England's Nation League campaign to experiment with personnel. And that concludes the news updates on AFRICUNIA television today. Do ensure to follow all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter in their respective order. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and leave a comment for me on the comment section. And don't forget, you can link us up on www.africunia.tv. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.